Hello, gorgeous human beings, and welcome to the last day of the Renaissance Masterclass. This is the beautiful bow that ties all of this beautiful 3-day magical conversation together. And honestly, if we can use this as a diving board to go into the next levels of whatever it is you're meant to lead in this world, if you can take this as your, like, it's time. Everything gets to change. Your launch pad. That's the right word, Karen. Thank you. If you can use this as your launch pad for whatever you're meant to lead, your life will change from this masterclass. And leadership is all about action. Thinking, philosophizing, brilliant, but leadership is about action. When you lead, you move. And when you move, you change your life. Thinking, you can change your feelings, you can change your thoughts, but you can't change your life in thought alone. It requires action. So my intention with this module is that this is the one that in the end helps you tie together why you haven't been moving and sets you in motion once and for all. So yesterday we talked about the problem that you have chosen that keeps you where you are. And I've seen some pretty iconic homework there. I've seen some people break through some beautiful things, make some big declarations, and this is really exciting. I want to give you some foresight on what's going to happen, though, because I don't want this to shock you when it happens. When you declare you're going to move a problem, there's one of two things that happens. Either you declare it and you never do it because the good feeling of the declaration alone feels like enough to set you going with validation for a little while. Or you change the problem, and then because you changed it for the wrong reasons, you changed it because you thought if you moved the problem, everything would be perfect. When you move the problem, you have a new problem, and then you wish the old problem would come back because the old problem was easier than the new problem. And this is what a lot of people do. Give me the old problem back. What is wrong? What was wrong with me? I used to think I was this, but now I realize I was not. If only I would have known back then. I wish I would only have that problem. If I would just have the problem I used to have, I would blah, 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 blah. We hear this all the time. I can't believe I used to stop myself because I thought I was too curvy. I look at the pictures now and I was perfect. What was wrong with me? If I could just look like that now, then now I'd have confidence in me. I don't know why I thought I was too old then. Oh my gosh, if I would have just done what I needed to do then, I was so young. Look at pictures of me back then when I thought I was old. Look at me. I was a chicken nugget. I had so much time ahead of me when I do that. I thought I was not attractive enough to go with someone worthy of me, and I settled because I was so caught up about my looks that I settled with someone just because, and I knew it wasn't the right person for me, and I settled, and now I'm like, I was so beautiful. Like, I don't know why I didn't see it, and I should have just trusted in myself because I knew, because if only I could just go back to the much. So you've got to get ready for this. Your problems, they don't necessarily get easier. They just change. And the only way you really know you've changed is if your problems change. So you're not just going to have an easier life just because you've moved through this one problem. You're going to develop another problem. This is the way the world works. There's always something in your life that you're working on, that you're working through, that there's always something. There is no, and then they lived happily ever after. It's like, and then the problem became blank. And who you become in the conquering of that problem, whatever it is who you are. But if you have the same problem all the time, you're just always the same person all the time, nothing in your life changes. So the most important thing as you go on to the journey of changing this problem is that you don't put the life after the problem on a pedestal. This is what we do. People say, when I have money, I'll be happy. No. When you no longer have money problems, you'll have something else problems. It just won't be money problems. Yes, but those problems won't matter. Yes, they will. No, they won't. It'll be so much easier. At least I'll be able to cry in my money. That's real cute. It's not how it works. But I definitely think you should make the money. Just be ready for the next level problem, because there will be another one. But you'll become extraordinary in the face of that problem. When I have a relationship, I'll have no more problems. That's all I need. No. Just when you have a relationship, you'll have a different problem. No, I'll have no problems. No, that's not true. There will be problems. It's just, this won't be one. We're so caught up in putting things on pedestals because this is the way we do life. It's the easiest way, is to put the dream on a pedestal, all the while licking the wounds of the pain we have now that we've managed to hold. Because the dream is beautiful, the grass is greener, and in this victim state we're in, we're more lovable because we're humble. And really, it's the perfect thing for a mediocre life where you can believe you're liked. That's not the vibe. So we have got to raise the bar, but it's not easy raising this bar. Creates another level of problem. This is why mentorship is so powerful. This is why walking with other leaders is so powerful. This is why having people that constantly break through certain things at different times in their lives all around you is actually an incredible thing. We want to be surrounded by people who break through all their problems and move and break through and do new things and break through and do new things, because then we have evidence that every problem is surmountable. Everything can be changed. But now here's where we self-sabotage. There is this weird thing. If I really look at what I hear everywhere and what I see everywhere over all this time where I've been a mentor, over my own journey in my life, the biggest thing that stops people is the fear of not belonging. Like, what if people don't like me? What if I lose the people that are closest to me? What if I make it, but I don't feel like this was my place and it was a mistake? What if I'm never quite as good as the other people who do it? What if I do it and then I can't hold it? What if I'm alone? What if I'm completely alone? It all boils down to the way we relate to ourselves and other people, and our experience of that. And the reason we do this is because we were taught from a very young age that you're either better than people or less than people. And that's how we've measured everything. Now, leadership is difficult because the premise of leadership is, I want to help you go where you want to go, only as long as I think I'm better than you. Because if you're better than me, then I probably can't lead you. So I only want to help people who are less than me. But when I'm around people who are better than me, although in my head, I understand that if someone is better than me in a certain area, it's good for me because it shows me. But then I also feel like crap because I'm not good enough. So I'm always in this duality of feeling bad about myself because so many people are superior than me, and also feeling like I need to pull everybody that I'm trying to help because they can't figure it out on their own. And so I'm either less than or superior than, I'm either inferior or superior, and those are the two only things I am. And I literally create my experience of my life based on where I feel inferior and feel superior. Now, this is a really harsh conversation that I'm going to have with you, but I think we really need to have it. And this is the real honest truth. When people don't feel like they belong, it's not because they don't feel like they belong. It's because they don't feel superior to everybody. That's how we found belonging. If I am better than everybody, I belong here. But if someone makes me feel inferior, I don't belong here. And so our problem is that we want to be in the big rooms, in the big conversations. We want to be where the magic is. But just being in that room with the magic makes us feel like we don't belong, because we would have to be the greatest person in the magic room in order to feel like we belong. That's the only way we feel we belong. If I'm better than everybody here, I belong. Maybe a couple of people I could get behind, maybe saying a couple, maybe, okay, a couple of people could be better than me. But I cannot be less. So the way that I've been pushing the message with my leadership for the last few years, and it's made beautiful ripples, is equal power, but different. What we have not talked about enough in our upbringing, which means we are the same, but different. You've raised 3 kids. I have a multi-million-dollar business. We're the same. It's just, I could teach you about this and you could teach me about that. Equal power, but different. But we want to be the best at everything. And our entire worth as human beings is based on being the best at everything. And we only allow ourselves to belong in rooms where we're the best. Because if we're the best, we have value. We don't even really connect to just the I was born worthy and nothing has changed. We don't even connect to like every single one of us has intrinsic, innate value just because we're alive. It's like, no, but what can you bring to the table? How are you valuable? Well, I'm the best. Oh, then yes. Now, there are certain settings in the world where people want to hire the best. That I completely understand. And at the same time, there's the flip side of people who don't want to hire the best, who say the best is overrated. I like the underdog. And I've heard this so many times. I've had so many people stop working with me because I became mainstream. They told me I preferred it when you were just not known. Like the more you're known, the more I see people like doing everything you do. Now I just don't like it anymore. And so I'm moving on. I don't like the big name. I don't like it. I want a boutique coach. I don't want the big name coach. I thought I'd matter more when I had more notoriety, but actually a lot of people prefer the other way. There will never be an everything for everyone. That we know. But we have not yet managed to override this feeling that as long as I'm the best, I belong. And this is everywhere. If you, and I'm telling you, like I've done so much core research for this with some of the most beautiful minds in this world that I've come to be able to speak to and like I've been blown away by these incredible people, but this is what I hear. I was always the black sheep in my family. How so? Well, I was the least blah, blah, blah one. You're the least, like the least educated, the least pretty, the least whatever it is. And so what you're saying is this person was better than you at that, and this person was better than, let's say your brother was better than you at this, and your sister was better than you at that, so you didn't belong in your family because you weren't the best at anything. You would have had to be the best at something to belong in your family. I didn't belong in school. There were the jocks, there were the brainiacs, there were the this, there were the that. I didn't belong anyway. So what you're saying is you weren't the most intelligent, and you weren't the fastest runner, and you weren't the most best this, and so you didn't feel like you belonged because you weren't outshining anybody. We literally feel we belong where we're the best. That's not belonging. Belonging is just what you are when you show up in a place and you decide you're meant to be there. And I have seen this in my masterminds. I've seen the person who it was the most unpredictable one to join show up and actually just blow everybody's mind with their courage because they were brave and their power was brave. So we're all equal power, but different. Because what it takes the person who's already making multi-millions of dollars to join that mastermind is different than what it takes the person who's, making a quarter of what that person is making to join the mastermind. One brings results, one brings courage, equal power, but different. We don't see it like that. We see, unless I'm the best in this room, I don't belong. I don't belong in this relationship. How many relationships have I helped mend where as my client becomes more rich and more powerful, her partner starts to feel Like they don't belong in the relationship anymore. Why don't you belong in the relationship anymore? Because I'm not more powerful. And that's the only way I've known to belong, is to be better. And I was always better financially until now, and I don't know how to be. I don't belong here anymore because we don't know how to walk with power. This new iteration of leadership is going to be the kind of people who can lead people who are shoulder to shoulder. I don't need to feel better than you to lead you. And I don't feel superior or inferior. I just feel together we rise. It's my own experience of myself that matters, not in comparison to. And the craziest thing is I've taken myself so far in so many areas when I stopped trying to be the best. The minute I started seeing people equal power but different, my entire life changed. It stopped mattering who's hotter, who's more advanced in their family life, who's got a better house, who's been to more countries, who's got more money, none of it matters. Everybody is equal power but different, and that amount of respect that I'm able to treat people with everybody has my respect because we're all going through stuff. My business is thriving, my life is thriving far more than when I used to try to be the best. And I've understood this on a manifestation point of view. Who's thinner, who's more beautiful, who's got better hair, who's got better eyelashes, who's got better eyebrows, who's got better style, who's got the newest car, who's got the newest purse, who's got the biggest this, who's got the smallest that, who's got. It's like at some point your value is in everything and nothing. As I just claimed my place, like this is where I am, and I am completely imperfect, but I'm proud of the things I'm proud of, and I'm working on the rest. I've built the most beautiful life for me. And I don't need to apologize for my shortcomings. And I don't need to tell the whole world the things about me that aren't good enough, because everybody has stuff that's not good enough. Nobody needs to tell each other that. We're all imperfect. That's something we should all know. The beautiful thing is when we've got something magical, be loud about what you're magic about. That's what the world hasn't seen enough of. Everybody knows you're imperfect. And if they forget that, that's on them. Unless you're literally telling people, I am perfect, when you're not. But if not, you're not perfect. You're just showcasing your best, because that's how you stay sane in this world, is you look at what's good about you and you deal with the rest, you work on the rest. You've got to love what's good about you and work on the rest, instead of where are you the best and where are you not? And that's only where you'll allow yourself to belong. I see people all the time not let themselves belong in the AFE. They'll be like, I'm not as successful as everybody else in this place. So I can't write my welcome post because I don't belong here. I don't belong where everybody is successful. Why? What if you're the bravest one here? Doesn't that make you the best at being brave? If that's what you need? And do you even need that? What if belonging means equal power, but different? And it's the one only consistent thing we've never been taught, is to be equal. We've been taught fair, but not equal. The value of people. That's the thing we've never been taught properly. We've been taught fairness. That's not fair. But we've not been taught equality in value of people. And so because of that, we're all so afraid that we're going to be inferior to somebody else that we spend all of our life checking. Am I the best in this room or am I inferior in this room? Because there's only those two things. I'm either better or I'm not. I'm either superior or I'm inferior. And I can't lead unless I'm superior. Well, how the heck am I supposed to grow? How am I supposed to move? How am I supposed to lead myself if I can only allow myself to go where I'm the best? That's very limiting. And so what it does is it keeps us in circles where we're the best, but we don't move. We don't evolve. Because I feel like I belong in the circle that I've outgrown. But then nothing pushes me, nothing moves me, nothing makes me leading. So The thing with this, it's incredible, is that we're all going through it. And as we talk to each other and as social media has become more and more honest, even though it's been ugly at times, we're just seeing people be really honest and vulnerable about that. If I feel inferior to you, I hate you. And I'm going to look for something to neutralize you. Instead of just like, you do this really well, let me learn from you. It's like, well, you think you're perfect because you do this well, but let me find something about you that's inferior so that I can really neutralize you, because nobody is perfect. And so the more we become successful, the more we fear that people are going to go looking for faults. The weirdest thing is this: present yourself with your faults and people will want to tell you your strengths. Present yourself with your strengths and people will want to tell you your weaknesses. So becoming self-deprecating is now self-serving. People show up with their vulnerabilities so that people will build them up. If we're going to change the world, we've got to be better at people being proud of themselves. We've got to be better at like seeing a person say, I did this and I'm proud of me, and people going, that is epic, congratulations. And not being like, well, you did that, but you're not perfect in this, and this is struggling, and you're not perfect in that. So, are you really happy? Congratulations. Congratulations. So often we see a person achieve the thing we want, and before we even experience joy, we experience, ouch. I want to be happy for you, but all I can think about is how you just became superior to me in this moment. All I can be reminded of is my inferiority before I can even see evidence of what I've been praying for being made manifest inches away from me. I see another evidence that I'm inferior. And so what's happening is the stronger we become, the more people are going to look for faults. Are we going to lead anyway? We're not perfect. Nobody is. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. That's not what this is about. Every single person on the planet has a bad day, a bad hair day, a bloated day, bad skin day, a bad hair day, a sad day, a bad season, a hard time. Everybody has this during their lifetime, but not everyone gets to touch their greatness in their lifetime. That is a magical thing. You don't need to remind people that you're human. Whoever told you you needed to do that, you don't need to remind people that you're human. What kind of person needs to be reminded that certain people are human on the planet? If you've lost touch of knowing that, you've got to keep doing the work. It means you put people on pedestals. You don't need reminding that people are normal. You need reminding that you can be superhuman, because if they can do it, you can do it. The thing we forget is not our humanity. We're very aware of that. The thing we forget is how incredible we are. And so I'm seeing so many people, and it's honestly, I've done this myself so many times, feel like as soon as people start getting uncomfortable with us, we want to showcase our humanity and show our downfalls and explain that we're not perfect, so that at least people aren't bothered by the fact that we're great. And then we stay small, much smaller than we could be. Of course, I'm not perfect. Do I really need to tell you that? You know that. Why don't I show you how magical a human can be in this lifetime while being human? You don't need to be reminded that people are human. It's the fact that we forget that that's the issue. And so we need counsel. We need to have people that are surrounding us, that keep us grounded as we grow and as we evolve. Because like I said this in my channel this morning, everybody poops. Like Beyonce poops. That's weird, but it's true. That's not how we see her. That's not the way we think of her. That's not the way we envision her. But like, she's full-blown human. She needs to take a shower every day. She needs to pee if she drinks a lot of water. and she needs a poop. Like, it's humanity. It's humanity. But that's not how we see the people that we're like, oh, that person's amazing. Oh, I'm so glad that I saw this person have a downfall. It makes me realize and remember they're human. You don't need that. You don't need to remember that people are human. You need to remember that you can be the greatest version of like superhuman that you can be. That's what matters. Far more than to be reminded that people are human. That's something you know that. We need to stop needing to be reminded that the incredible people that we admire are human. And we need to more so remember that while we're human, we can be the kind of superhuman we admire, even though we're human as they are. It's the superhuman part we need more evidence of, not the human part. We already have plenty of evidence of that. We want to see regular people doing extraordinary things. And everybody's regular people. Everybody is regular people. So anybody who does extraordinary things is regular people that did something extraordinary. And if you want to find a flaw, yes, but it's because that's you devaluing your possibility far more than you discrediting their reality. Leadership is about gathering evidence for what's possible. And mistakes happen because everybody is freaking regular people. You put people on a pedestal. Well, if you're going to be that amazing, you can't make mistakes. Well, then, I mean, if that's the truth, none of us are going anywhere. Isn't what we want to say is you can be a human being that makes mistakes, that's imperfect, and do incredible things? I just want to see where this comment is going. I may have some thoughts on this. Regular people, Taylor Swift tour tickets. This has been a huge uproar, by the way. Do you want to try just for fun being in charge of that and see how it goes? Like, I don't know why we think that some people should be so intelligent that they don't make any mistakes. But like, you run it. You invent a ticket thing that works. You fill out so many stadiums that there's no ticket thing on earth that can supply your people. And then figure out what the right thing to say on the internet is. You give that a shot. And if you nail it, then you can talk about Taylor Swift. Why do we even talk? Why? She could have, she should have. And we're discussing this doing what exactly? Having never had to even look at this a day in our lives. We don't even know what we're talking about. I watched 4 different versions of TikToks with 4 different people with 4 different opinions. And now I'm bringing this to the conversation because what? I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what it's like to be Ticketmaster, and I don't know what it's like to be Taylor Swift. But I'm going to judge both because they could have done better. I could do better. I could be doing better at everything in my life. But I'm going to be focused on Taylor Swift, who's a freaking multi-millionaire and nailing it and selling more records in the history of womankind. And I'm going to think about how she should have handled her stuff different. I got a lot of things to think about over here. Don't have time for this. I don't have time to be judging anybody with their inadequacies while I'm over here trying to figure out all the things I've messed up. It's just so helpful to have someone to criticize. They should know better. I should know better. You should know better. Well, you'd think with that amount of fans that they should. Have you disappointed one of your clients or one of your fans? And how many do you have in comparison to them? What are we doing? Like, there's people that can literally, we can look at it and say, holy crap, the amount of power and influence that's possible while you still make so many mistakes is incredible. And I'm over here discrediting myself and giving myself a hard time, saying I'll never be able to be what I want to be because I made this mistake and that mistake. Meanwhile, the top selling ticket artists in the entire world is having to battle TikTok angry people. If she can do it, I can do it. If she can still do what she's doing, then I can do what I can do. There's no reason for us to get our knickers in a twist about this stuff. Our lives are not ready enough for us to have time to think about anybody else's shortcomings. We've got all our stuff to handle. Meanwhile, we don't even want to step into a room unless we're the best. Meanwhile, we don't even want to show up in a room unless we're the best. Meanwhile, we don't belong unless we're the best. And anybody who is the best, we're mad at because they're not perfect. It's like, and we wonder why we're stuck. And we wonder why we're second guessing ourselves. And we're wondering why we're so tough on ourselves. And we wonder, it's like, it's time to see good people win. And good people make mistakes. Good people are human. Good people are all those things, but they're also extraordinary. This is the part we forget. The extraordinary human beings are human beings that have actually gotten themselves to their extraordinary version. Now you're a human being. You just haven't done the extraordinary thing yet. You've done great things, but not the extraordinary things. And you're imperfect and you're going to make mistakes. So wouldn't it be better to watch an imperfect, extraordinary person win and say, holy crap, that's evidence that if she can do it, I can do it? And here's the thing, they don't need to make mistakes in order for you to even do that, because I'll tell you right now, they're making mistakes. Beyonce went through the ringer in her relationship, and Celine Dion went through the ringer with her looks and her relationship, and it was a nightmare for her. And Nicki Minaj has fought with everyone under the sun, and Taylor Swift dates too many guys and can't make any one of them stay, and none of them are perfect. But look what they've done with their humanity and their imperfections. And it's because it's easier for so many people to talk about them than to actually go and lead their own lives, that there's such a gap between who actually makes it and who doesn't. The amount of people on this planet that self-actualize, the percentage is so tiny because we're terrified we'll be the one people talk about. And we will be. Because there will always be the people who change their lives and the people who talk about the people who change their lives. That's how it goes. But it would be really nice for it to be like 10% of the world instead of 1%. Like 15% are leaders, 20% are leaders. Can you imagine if there was one leader for every non-leader on the planet, what kind of world we'd live in? It'd be amazing. And leadership also means compassion and understanding that we're all human. So it wouldn't be leaders that need to be the one only best in the room. It would be leaders who lead together and believe in together we rise. We live in an entirely different world. So we can't just eradicate the problem, thinking that the problem is the problem. We've got to eradicate the problem because the problem is our current level of self that can't be moved until the problem changes. So you've got to be brave enough to change your problem. You've got to. And this whole inferiority and superiority thing, it never goes away. Because what's going to happen is when you crack the code at this level and you access another level, you'll realize again that you're inferior somewhere else. This is like the big fish in the small pond analogy. When I think about every level that I've conquered financially, and I've seen who's comfortable at the level I've just stepped into in this life, I realize there's always going to be another level. It's a mountain with no peak. I thought if I was one of those people who could make 6 figures a year, my life would be changed forever. I really thought that. I was like, the day I make 6 figures a year, I will be a different person. And the day that I hit 6 figures a year, I thought, you know what it really is it's $250,000. That's the thing, because when you're making 6 figures, $1 less than 6 figures is not 6 figures. It needs to be like after tax, like $250,000, you have 6-figure after tax. That's going to be the thing. That's, if I made $250,000 a year, oh my gosh, I would be. And then it was like, well, actually, what would really be the thing is $1 million. Like really, if we're really thinking about it, $1 million is the thing. And then it was like, well, it's not really $1 million, it's 2.5, because if you think about all the expenses and the taxes and everything, in order to have $1 million, you have got to make like 2.5, so more like 2.5. So that means like making $100,000 a month is not quite enough. So it'd have to be like 160, but that's a weird number. So maybe like $200,000 a month. That would be, oh my God. If I made $200,000 a month, I'd never need to make another dollar in my life. Oh, but wait, but then you've got to pay taxes on all that. And then you're making less than 6 figures a month. If it were 6 million a month or 6 figures a month after the taxes, that would be mind blowing. So more like $250,000. So maybe it should be $1 million a month. And then you see billionaires and people who are able to change the world and build schools and give and do and buy private jets and own all the things and have a new style every season and this and that. And you're like, oh my gosh, it never ends. Any billionaire would hear Melanie Ann Laird has a company that made $60 million in a few years and be like, oh, that's cute. It's all subjective. It's completely subjective. Because to someone who never made $4,000 a month, $100,000 or $10,000 a month would be mind-blowing. That's subjective. Because to a person who makes $1 million a month, making $100,000 a month would be real bad. It's subjective. It depends who you ask. And it depends where who you ask is in their life in that exact moment. Everything changes all the time. Inferior and superior changes, even it's subjective. When your kid comes to you and is like, like the most beautiful girl in my class, she's got all the things, and you're like, who's the most beautiful girl in your class? Show me. Show me this beautiful girl in your class. This one. That is not you're the most beautiful girl in your class. No, I'm not. I'm the ugliest girl in my class. No, that's the ugliest girl in your class. Let's be real honest. It's all subjective. It's none of it's real. And we want to be the best to everyone at all things, always, and then we feel we belong. And our biggest thing in life is we want to belong. So we want to be the best everywhere, always, in order to survive. What a crappy existence. And then how do we even be friends at that point? If you're only friends with me as long as you're better than me, are we really friends? How do you feel equal power but different with billionaires? Very curious. Because what I've done for me is as wild, like honest to goodness, at this point, I think it would be as hard for me to become a billionaire from where I am now than it was for me to become a multimillionaire from where I started. I don't look at a billionaire and see just that they're further than me now. I see there's more for me to create and there's more for me to do, but I know for a fact that there's a lot that a lot of billionaires could learn from me. I don't know if they would be still grateful for little things in life. I don't know if they would still be grateful for a Starbucks that they would receive for free. Or I don't know if they would be grateful still for little things. I don't know if they're as connected with their relationship as I am. I don't know if they are still so generous with their family and the people they love, or if they've become a little blasé with that. I don't know if they still care so much about their company ethics, everyone they work with being paid well. I don't know. Are they happy? I don't know. Maybe for some, yes, but I'm not going to say a billionaire is just better than me. I will say I could learn so much more about making money as long as there are people making exponentially more than me on the planet. I can be led. But I feel equal power because billionaires don't touch everybody. I've built my business and I've got both my hands on the pulse. I'm speaking to you. I'm looking at you in your face right now. Like I'm right here. My team is there to receive feedback. I talk to you. I love you. I'm here with you. A lot of billionaires haven't had a conversation with a real person in a very long time about just stuff, about life. It's more like everybody's in charge of everything and nobody bother me. Equal power, but different. It's different. What it takes for me to run this is all of me. What it takes them to run that is all of them. That's equal power, but different. And it does show me that I can be more. But it's not about that I'm inferior to a billionaire. It's like they're there, I'm here, we're doing the thing. And I think because of that, there's a very possible thing where I could be a billionaire tomorrow and it wouldn't be shocking to me. I could become a billionaire tomorrow and just say, well, I never thought I'd be a millionaire tomorrow, and I became a millionaire tomorrow. So I could be a billionaire tomorrow, and that would be just as shocking as everything else I've done. And then I'd probably develop a whole bunch of other problems about everybody in the world saying no one should be a billionaire, that no one should have that much money, that so much judgment, far more people. Then I'd end up on a list of people. Then people would know my name. I would not be able to get out of the spotlight then. When people looked at the list of women on the planet that are billionaires, and there would be a 35-year-old right there on that list, boop, I'd be known then. Everybody poops. How much would it really change me? How much would it really change me? I'd actually be curious to find out, because there's still more billionaire. You know what I actually see? I actually saw a meme that said something like, are people who have $1 billion even billionaires? Because the minute they spend $1, they're not billionaires anymore. So it's almost like a person with 1 billion isn't even really a billionaire. I was like, for the love of all things holy. Are we really going to start dissecting? You only have 1 billion, so you're not a real billionaire? How many billions do you need to have in order to be considered a billionaire? 1. That's how it works. Yes, but there are far more billions to be had. If you start spending money, you make $1 billion, you spend any kind of money, you're not a billionaire anymore. You got to be careful. As soon as you become a billionaire, you can't spend $1 anymore until you've made more than $1 billion, or else you're going to lose your status of $1 billion. They were a billionaire. Then they bought a jet, and the jet was like 200 million. So really, they're only worth 800 million plus a jet, and jet's depreciating as it goes. See, bad choice, not a billionaire anymore. I win. Poor money choices, the idiots. If I was a billionaire, definitely wouldn't have done that. No, of course not. Please tell me what you would have done if you were a billionaire. And let me listen to you with all the validity that this thought has. It's like, what are we doing? Why are we talking about this stuff? Why aren't we just going and doing what we've got to do? So leadership means you move. Leadership means you change your problems fast. You don't stare at the same problem for years and years and years and years and years. That means you stay the same person for years and years and years and years and years. And yeah, the next problem may be harder, but you're a badass and you're going to figure it out. And how are you ever going to lead anyone to move if all you can do is push or pull them? You got to be moving in order for people to be able to move in your life. You move, they move, just like that. You move, they move, just like that. You move, they move, just like that. If not, you stay the same. You tell them to move, you push and pull them. You're exhausted because it takes you every single thing you've got to push and pull them, and they don't move, and you're bitter and resentful until they realize you haven't moved. They're mad at you for not moving, and they fire you because you're not moving. And then you're mad and upset, and then that makes you move because you're uncomfortable. So now you're mad. So now you're going to do something big with your life. Now you're amazing. Now you're a leader. Everything's good. Then you get comfortable. You just start pushing and pulling people. The whole thing crumbles again. You wonder, why on earth is this happening again? I thought I'd overcome this. Did you stop moving and just start pushing and pulling people? Yes. Well, that's why it happened. Okay. Everything falls apart. Everything fell apart. Now what do I do? Well, now you're actually uncomfortable. So you might as well do something meaningful while you're uncomfortable, because this sucks anyway, and you would not have chosen this discomfort. So let's put a bunch of leadership stuff here. What else do you want to change? I broke up with the partner. All of a sudden, I'm back at the gym. I've cut my hair. I've taken away all the stuff I didn't want to keep in my closet anymore. I'm moving houses. I've changed everything. I'm learning Spanish. Because if one thing's uncomfortable, I'll change everything. And if nothing's uncomfortable, I don't want to change a thing. The more movement we have, the more movement we generate. We are the leaders of our time. And for that, we've got to move. And movement bothers people, because the minute you start doing good, you become superior to the mind that only understands inferior and superior. And people who only belong when they're superior no longer feel they belong with you. And then you're heartbroken because you think they don't love you anymore, when it was never about loving you anyway. It was only about belonging with you because you were less than them. Do you really want to belong with them if that's the only reason they wanted you around? I no longer want to be around people who only want me around because around me, they feel superior. That's not the way I do relationships anymore. That's not the way I treat people. That is not the way I'm going to be treated. If when I move, you feel inferior and that's the reason you don't want to be my friend anymore, I just found out why you were my friend in the first place. And I am real glad that I grew to learn. This is not real friendship. This is not real love. This is not real like. The thing we're selling ourselves short for, it's not even worth it. People like you less. No, they don't. They don't like you less. They like themselves less. It was never about you. They liked themselves more than when they were with you because you were less than them and it felt good. Now you're better. So now they don't feel so good about themselves. It has nothing to do with you. It never has. The people who love you when you succeed, they bounce off the freaking walls for you. And maybe you bug them. And maybe they feel like, she makes me realize I need to do big things too. Maybe, but they don't stop loving you. The people who stopped liking you didn't like you to begin with. They just liked how good they felt when you sucked. This is most of the world. People pleasing. They don't even love us. They just like the way they feel. Having a friend like us that does less than them. That's not the way to go. This is not good. We want to see our friends rise. And for that, we got to be moving. The thing that gets you in your head is when other people move and you're not moving. That's why you feel bad. Because if you were moving too, you'd be proud of them. It's only when you know you're not moving that people make you feel a certain way. This just reminds me I'm not good enough. I'm not moving. I've been stuck with my problems. This person's overtaking me. When you move, you're proud of people when they move. When you stay stuck, everything just doesn't feel the same. You need people to be stuck too. You need people to be stopped too. You need people to stop evolving too, to justify that it's okay that you're stuck. When they move, you feel inferior. Then you feel bad about yourself. Then you'd rather not look at them, not spend time around them. That's not relationships. We can do better than this. So from this point forward, this is what I want us to work on, all of us. Belonging means equal power, but different. Seeing the beauty in people, whether they're telling you they can't see it or whether they're shouting it from the rooftops. Instead of seeing the beauty in people when they're struggling and suffering, and then as soon as they're proud of themselves, tearing them down because no one should be so proud. That's not the new way. I want us to be so proud of people who toot their own horn and mean it. There is always going to be the people who boast because they don't feel like they belong. And we can feel that frequency. The people who you can tell are saying, look at me for validation. That's not the same. A person who's celebrating from their heart, you can feel that. We've got to get good at celebrating those people. It starts with us. I want to see you celebrate. I want to see you claim where you're powerful. There are things about your life right now that are amazing. You sell yourself short. You've got to be proud of what you've done and you've got to move. No more staying stuck and paralyzed because you're afraid people aren't going to like you or that you're not going to belong. There's already so many places you don't belong. You'll always be relatable to some. There'll always be places you don't belong. That's life. But this inferior and superior thing in leadership, it has to change because the only way we truly go the distance and take people with us is equal power, but different. It's the only way. If we're seeing that the entire world is stuck with this, the whole world gets stuck with this. This is where everybody gets stuck. I don't belong. It's not that you don't belong. It's that you don't think you're better than most people here. Just too many people are better than you, so you think you don't belong. We've got to change that paradigm. We've got to change it. You belong in every room you walk in. And if we let each other belong in every room we walk in, because we just do, no proving, no pushing, just, I love this room and I chose it and I'm here and I love it here. Let's be friends just because. And I can't wait to see you rise too. If those are the kinds of rooms we create, there really is no limit to what we can do on this planet because we tear each other down. It's not the outside world, it's us. It's the crabs in the same jar that prevent any crab from leaving. We're the ones, like, it's us. So we either rise together or we pull each other back in the bucket. You got to decide you belong, and everybody here does too. It's the only way you belong. If not, you will always do this thing where as long as you're better than most, you belong. And if you're not, then no. Caring about people and their lives and their successes, and caring about yourself and your life and your success. Everybody struggles with the same thing. At some point, we've got to listen to each other. This is why leadership is the commitment to evolution and growth over a lifetime, and with refinement and rebirth of who we are until the end, with an acceptance of every chapter. Because it's like, you're inferior to people now and superior to people now, and you'll be inferior to people and superior to people in certain areas later, and then you'll move into another phase of your life, and there it'll be a different balance. As long as you're constantly evolving, you're constantly evolving. It's a mountain with no peak. You're walking up a mountain that's never got a peak. Our sense of belonging is not based on belonging. It's based on being superior. Then we're only going to belong in the rooms we're the best in. So they're all fake rooms. And how can you really tell people you want to help them go somewhere if you only want to help them go as long as they don't go further than you? Then are you really leading? Are you really leading to greatness if you can't handle being not the greatest person in the room? And I'll tell you this, we're moving into femme fatale. The women who are with me in here that are doing femme fatale with me, this is a big mother wound. A lot of the times, like a lot of the mother-daughter relationships are strained in this world because it feels like I can't do more than my mother did, or my daughter makes me feel like I should have done more, or my daughter has it so much easier compared to me and she doesn't understand how good she has it, and it was so much harder for me, and I gave up so much to be a mother, and my mother's never proud of me no matter what I do. She always criticizes everything I do. It's like, no, is it the bigger that you get when she hasn't healed her wounds, the more she feels, you feel that she's inadequate. It's a mess. It's a mess. Even the people we love the most, we can get entangled in all kinds of messes with. The sister wound, the mother wound. These are huge. I can't, if I'm not as good as my sister, I'm inferior. If I'm inferior, I'm the lesser child. If I'm the lesser child, I don't belong in my family. So I've got to be better than my sister. This is why the sisterhood wounds are so deep, because it's like, I love you and I care about you, but I also need to beat you in order to belong. How much can we really feel safe in any relationship with that narrative? I think our gift and this rebirth and this opportunity, this incredible opportunity, is that when we actually crack this code, we change the world. It's even bigger than us. And it definitely works with the contrary. If I know I'm stronger than my sister in so many areas and I make her feel like she doesn't belong, and I feel guilty for her not belonging, I will dim my light so that she has a place she can shine, where I didn't steal all the spotlight, because she doesn't belong if I'm better at everything. So I'll pretend I'm less good at this and this and this, so she has a place to shine. We do it in both directions. I'll be a little less just so that you feel like you still belong with me. Or I've got to be more so that I feel like I belong with you. Either way, that's not what belonging is. We've been taught wrong. Because the easiest way to make sure people don't rise together is to pit them against each other. If we're together, we can do everything. If we're against each other, we will be our own demise. We won't even need the power or the great leaders or the whoever else to manage us. We'll self-destruct each other. It's like, don't even worry about them becoming anything great. They'll fight each other. Don't even worry. Don't worry about women taking over the world. They're too busy hating each other. We're good. We're good for a few more decades. They're not going anywhere. They're too busy fighting. I think we can do better than this. If we put our minds together, our hearts together, and put our heels in the same direction, things are going to change. If we just listen, we're all going through this. This is not like every single person has this. And we're able to talk to every single person on the planet. We're seeing these behaviors in every country, in every continent, all over the freaking globe. The behaviors are the same. Doesn't that tell us something? We have the social network to be able to see global behavior, not edited behavior, not only as long as it's well written and it makes it in the newspaper. Like every single person with a pulse can write something on the internet. And sometimes it appears that's all, this is the only requirement really, because the kinds of things that get posted on there sometimes are ridiculous, but across the board, the things that drive those things that are written, the actual behavior is the same. So are we going to learn from that and realize that although there's a lot of division, the division comes from the same need to be superior? My point of view is better. It has to be. Because if my point of view is not better, I don't belong. Everyone is fighting this. It's why there's so much animosity everywhere. We've all been pit against each other. Nobody powerful needs to even worry about us because we're too busy fighting each other over Taylor Swift's freaking Ticketmaster tickets. We've got all the power in the entire world and we're fighting each other. Nobody needs to worry about a thing. Don't worry about the children. They're playing together in the other room. The adults can continue to do the big work because the kids are playing in the other room. That's what we are. Kids playing in the other room, fighting for nothing when we could be changing huge things. And the only thing that's needed is that we walk in the same direction. So I want to read you this one more time, this Renaissance post, and I hope it lands differently for you after this conversation. History has shown us that as communication between communities and cultures become easier, the world changes. The more access we have to each other, the more we learn, listen, and course correct, the faster the world changes. Sometimes so fast it feels we are reborn. It can happen like this. Feminine energetics and leadership will take the world as we know it beyond what it can comprehend today. When we move, they move, just like that. As we truly hear each other and put our egos aside and pivot with our heels in the same direction, we will lead a new paradigm. What if we could bring forward a new era in leadership, art, and modern day literature, a new age renaissance? What does this mean? It means your art gets impacted by this. The things you post on social media get to change in a leadership direction rather than a trying to be superior or needing to be superior or needing to be validated and being seen so you feel superior. While all the while making sure that you're self-deprecating and telling the world you don't think you're great in order to not get the hate that comes with being confident. While all the while wishing you were confident, because your problem is if you were more confident, you'd be able to be better. Your art gets to get a facelift, your posts, what you write about, how you speak to people. You get to be reborn in this moment and stand for your greatest self-actualizing without needing to apologize, without needing to get validation for it. Just what if what we're really leaving behind are like digital footprints in the sands of time, digital scriptures for the new generation to fall upon? What if these are all that matters, these posts, these dialogues, these arguments that occur on social media? What if this is what we leave behind? Are we really doing our best? Or are we waiting for something more to come to show up so we can make a difference one day? It's now. This is the day. We have a global platform for mass connection. Are you saying what you want to say? Are you really saying what you want to say? Or are you making sure it's not going to bug anybody? They're already bugged. They're already mad at something. Are you being who you want to be? Are you doing what you want to do? Have you really actually led yourself? Have you left the digital footprint in the sands of time that you could leave behind? Or have you not even started scratching the surface out of fear that you're inferior to everything else that's out there? You're brilliant, but no one will know that unless you move. It's time right now to bug everybody that would be bugged by an extraordinary person. People get bugged by extraordinary people. So go bug everybody. Go bug everybody that gets bugged by people they feel inferior to if they haven't gotten the memo that that's not the way we're doing things anymore. If that's the line in the sand, if that's the line, that the only way for people to like you is for them to feel better than you, are you really willing to make that deal? Okay, I rather if you like me, I'll be much more lesser. And then that way, when you're with me, you'll feel like a genius. And then you will love me because when you're with me, you feel more betterer. Okay? I don't know. I don't know what I should do next. I don't know. I don't know where I should go. I know I want to be something. I just don't know what I want to be. I'm sure there's something in me, but I don't know. I don't know. Playing yourself small, pretending you're dumb, pretending you don't know, pretending so that no one actually gets bothered by how freaking amazing you are. Bother them. Bother them and then change the world. Because everybody's bothered already. And to be honest, they're bothered around the wrong thing. They're so busy being bothered about Taylor Swift or about whoever else. Take the heat off Taylor. You bug them. Call them to rise. Do something big, do something bold. But you have this moment in time. It's yours to make a difference. And there is no amount of saving the world or changing the world that will ever give you the feeling that self-actualizing will give you. So everybody wants to be a leader so they can change people. Change yourself. Change yourself, and then people will change. We need evidence. You will say the wrong thing. You will say the wrong thing. You will say the wrong thing and you will do the wrong thing. And then you'll still be excellent. And then you'll be an extraordinary leader. Because once you've done the wrong thing and said the wrong thing and still succeeded, you will be the greatest mentor. I don't really care about people who do everything right and succeed. They're not relatable to me. I want to know who's messed up real bad and who's still doing great. That's who I want to hear from because they give me hope. The perfect person, I'm sure they're helpful to somebody, but to me, I'm just like, I cannot relate. I'm sure that's great. Someone give me a mess up for please. Can somebody relate to changing their life? Because I need somebody who's made mistakes to lead me. I want it all. I want the good, the bad, the messy. I want all of it. All of it. So go be all of it. You messy, beautiful, extraordinary, fantastic human being. Go be that. And whoever only liked you because they felt superior to you, let them go. That's not love. That's not like. And you're better off without them. I want to see all of us do our very best and mess up all the way there and laugh and enjoy the journey and be human and extraordinary all at the same time. Equal power, but different. This masterclass, if you take it as this transmission of a potential rebirth for you in your life, you'll understand that this is a new era in leadership. Not putting one leader on a pedestal and making sure that everybody else fights, but rather just all standing in our power together, standing for each other in the same direction for a better world, acknowledging we all mess up, acknowledging we're all imperfect, and celebrating those who, despite all those imperfections, do extraordinary things because they're evidence that you can mess up and do extraordinary things. We need more of that. We don't need to be reminded that we're human or that people are human or that great people are human. You cannot forget that people are human. It's the one thing you can't forget. It's just a fact. That's not subjective. Everybody is human. That's not subjective. That is a fact. If they do extraordinary things to you, you think what they've done is extraordinary, that's subjective. So let us see greatness in people. We already know everyone's normal and human and everybody poops. We already know. What we need to remember is that we can do great things. That's the thing that we have to not forget in order for the world to change. And that we don't need to be the best in the room to belong. All we need to do to belong is choose that we do. That's it. So this masterclass is going to be available to you until mid-December. Watch it as many times as you desire. I want you to lead yourself in this. I've noticed that a lot of my masterclasses I give lifetime access to, people put on a back burner and say, I'll watch it later. I saw it and I know I have that. I saw it, but I never watched it. I don't want that to happen with this masterclass. This is one of those masterclasses that you watch it and you got it. You don't need to watch it a million times. Watch it, get it, integrate it, watch as many times as you want between now and December, mid-December, and then that's it. But take the information and then go lead with it. This is a transmission in time that matters. It really matters. And for those of you who are doing alpha to alpha with me, the direction of alpha to alpha this year is how do you lead other people once you've led yourself? How do we take this and make it that you then start to attract the top people in this world? And how do you lead with them? How do you lead a person that's shoulder to shoulder with you? How do you have the hard conversations with people when things aren't working? How do you have respect for people that are making you upset? How do you still value people when you have historically seen them as less? How do you still walk with power? So thank you, Alpha Team, until December 12th. That's the exact date. Alpha to Alpha is really how to value equal power leadership. The idea is I'm a leader, you're a leader, equal power but different, but here's where I know I can help. But I respect and honor you. And I don't need you to be less than me in order to believe I can help you. And I don't stop feeling I can help you when you're more than me either. And I don't feel inferior to a person that's done more than me in one area. I can walk with all power. So the way, this is a good question, Allison. The way I created these programs, Femme Fatale at first used to be all of it. Femme Fatale used to be all she who leads herself. Everything feminine energy leadership, heart connection, emotional intelligence, everything was Femme Fatale. And through the refinement process of refining this for like 5 years, it became so big that eventually I had to slice it. And I said, okay, I'm going to do half leadership and half energetics, emotional intelligence. So Femme Fatale and Alpha to Alpha are the two programs that really touch this stuff. But the difference in them, Alpha to Alpha is more so around your mission, your clients, your peers, being in a group like this, you know, on the internet, the Alpha Femme experience or your own masterminds. It's more so your professional leadership. Whereas Femme Fatale is how to lead yourself with in your relationship, with your kids, with your parents, with the people that you love, your best friends, the people where it's like love leadership. So I split it more like the leadership that helps you in a more of a professional setting and the leadership that helps you in a more heart, like the people that I truly, truly love. And why I love doing these together is because sometimes your clients become your friends after a while and then you don't know how to talk to them anymore. And I've seen this happen a lot, especially in this industry where it's like, I've been coaching this person for 10 years and now we've got this money argument. I have no idea how to, like this, I love this person like a freaking best friend. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to handle this when it's this. So I love learning both together because they're incredible. But if you know, I need leadership. I need leadership in my business. I need to be able to lead my team more effectively. I can't keep a team. We start, they fall off. They don't do what they're supposed to do. They're not sharp. I don't feel they care about me or my clients. I keep changing my staff over and over again. We have issues, we have fights, it's not working. Alpha to alpha. I need to be able to speak to my clients. We've got issues. They're crossing boundaries. It's not going well. It's like, I try so much to get my point across, but I feel like my boundaries are being walked all over. And it feels like the only thing I could do is say it and then we'll fight. I don't want to fight with my clients. I want to be able to talk about what's important and not have boundaries. I need to talk to my suppliers. I need to show up and be able to present myself in a bank meeting. I need to be able to show up in a peer mastermind and not show up to this huge mastermind, show up and then feel like I don't belong there because I'm not as successful as everybody else. How do I make my place? How do I show up and lead myself in an environment with people? How do I actually claim my space fully here? You know, it really is more so how, if there's an issue, I've rented this beautiful apartment or luxury hotel room and I'm not getting the service I want. How do I make it right with the manager? How do I speak to the manager of an establishment and not lose myself in my emotions? How do I communicate my needs? I've planned something important for my birthday or a celebration at the restaurant. This is not the event that I had hoped for. I am not happy with the service. I'm not happy. How do I communicate that effectively without tarnishing my reputation or never being able to show my face here again? How do I get what I want without diminishing another person? How do I put myself in social circles where I'm growing without making myself feel inferior? That's all alpha to alpha. And we're starting this very soon. We start on the 30th of November or 20, is it 29th of November? Hang on. The 30th of November is when we start alpha to alpha. And I think we do have a bundle actually. And if we don't, I'll make one for those of you who want to do both. Alpha to alpha is 10 days back to back to back to back to back to back. It's really freaking brilliant. It will, and I will tell you, if you have if you work for a company and they pay for leadership trainings. I've had a lot of people take alpha to alpha as a leadership training as a work thing. So you can present it as a work extracurricular training, and a lot of companies have paid for alpha to alpha for their employees. This is like, if the world could take this program, we would have a completely different experience of customer experience, customer service, customer relations, you know, boss management, work relationships. The whole world would change. I don't even doubt that for a second. So if this is something that your job could pay for, you can present it to them and maybe they would be willing to pay for it as a leadership credit for you. If you have your own business, it's honestly, I've saved so much money learning how to lead. It's out of this world. There's nothing like it. And so if you were getting to the end of your year and you've got to have deductions for your company in order to make, you know, your books balance, and you're looking for things to invest in, this is world class when it comes to business. It's really amazing. And Femme Fatale is more so the emotional connection. And my team just told me we don't have a bundle, so I'll work on one and I'll post in the group what it is. If you have any questions about this, you can post them. When we put the link, I'll have my team post a link to Femme Fatale and Alpha to Alpha. And if you have any questions, you can post them below. My team will answer. If it gets complicated, I'll come in and answer, but it'll be my pleasure to assist you in anything if you want support in that. If you are in the E3 membership, you do have your monthly amount that you use every month that you can utilize to buy Alpha to Alpha. So if you are paying $88 a month, you want to use your $88 credit towards Alpha to Alpha, you can do that. If you're paying $111 a month, you can do that. The price of the membership is going to be going up. I do want to say, if you're in E3, if you're in the E3 masterclass continuation, I'm going to be taking this masterclass and putting it in E3. So if you're in E3, you're not just going to lose access as of December 12th. It's going to become part of the E3 masterclass continuation. If you're not in that, honestly, it's really worth it. Right now it's $111. In December, it'll go up to $222 a month. In there is hosted the E3 masterclass. So you have all that content you can plug into. And I'm going to be putting this masterclass in E3. So you'll be able to continue to connect to that if you want to. And you get to use your amount that you pay monthly towards other programs if you want. It's the E3 continuation. It's 200 and right now it's only $111 a month. It goes up to 222 in December. So if you would like to register for that, you would be able to get, you know, monthly continuations in that. And anytime I launch a masterclass, you get to use your monthly credit if you want to buy masterclasses or programs. It's really awesome. So the Alpha team can also put a link to the E3 membership if you want to stay connected in there. It really is worth it. And there'll be perks like this where every single person who's here right now who was in E3 got to be a part of this. It's really an amazing thing. Honestly, I think this is going to be a great thing to be a part of moving forward in 2023. Again, if you have any questions about anything, we'll make sure we put Femme Fatale, Alpha to Alpha. I'll create a bundle. I'll put a bundle link on there for you, E3, and then on there, on that post with all the links, if you have questions, you'll be able to ask them and we'll take care of you. So I want to thank you so much for this 3-day transmission. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I know the ripple that these conversations have. So just move with them. Don't overthink this. Don't just make it something you learned in your head. Go make a difference in your life. Change your problem. Until when can we register for Alpha to Alpha? You can register even once we've started if you want. You would just miss some of the live energy, but you can join when you want. I don't close doors, I open them. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go do something meaningful. You got this. You've got this. You've got this. You've got this. Everybody feels the same. So as we change, we give permission for the world to change, and something can shift on the planet through you, through your self-actualization, through your courage, through you changing your problem. Change your problem, change your life. You got this. Thank you for a beautiful masterclass, and I will see you on the internet.